I'm not here to bash anyone's favorite game, but I am going to talk about why Daggerheart just isn't for me, and why I'm going to be riding the proverbial Dragonbane train full speed ahead for a very long time yet, because I just love Dragonbane. This isn't a review. I haven't played Daggerheart at the table yet. I have read through all the beta. I've read through the latest SRD. I looked at the community license. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. And let's just talk. Let's talk about Daggerheart a little bit and why I prefer Dragonbane. First thing that comes to mind is the fact that, I love D12s. Daggerheart uses 2 D12s, one for hope, one for fear. It's neat, it's flavorful, it creates tons of drama. But to me, it just doesn't feel like you're risking enough with a skill check or in combat or anything like that. Because to me, it looks as if you've got about a 75% chance of success on any given skill roll. Now, with Dragonbane, it's a roll under system, right? It's a roll under D20 mechanic. So a 1 is a dragon, that's a really good thing. And a 20 is a demon, which is a really bad thing. And your skill always falls somewhere between 2 and 18. But I prefer that roll under mechanic in Dragonbane because there's not a lot of ambiguity to it. You either succeed or you don't succeed. And if you don't succeed, well, then you failed. And failures come with consequences. So my advice is, and this is a very old school take, I apologize if I offend anyone with this, but, make your decisions well when you play Dragonbane or any old school D&D, any Dungeons & Dragons, anything. Make good decisions for your characters. Because the system is not going to save you in a lot of cases. Now, Daggerheart's nice. I do kind of like that ambiguity and then the wide berth of successes in Daggerheart for some things. And I can certainly see, if I was playing a superhero game or if I was playing, a lot of other things that weren't, just straight fantasy, like medieval European fantasy or just any kind of fantasy game at all. Yeah, Daggerheart's mechanics are awesome if you want to be a superhero. But again, just not my jam. And that brings us to combat. To me, Daggerheart feels too safe versus Dragonbane's dangerous and fun. In Daggerheart, it's pretty much assumed the heroes are always going to win the fight just because, to me, the system looks like everything is stacked in the player's favor, and the GM is just kind of there to watch the show for the most part. At least that's how it seems to me. Now, again, I'm not trying to upset the critters. I'm not trying to upset all the Daggerheart fans because I know there's a lot of them emerging right now. Daggerheart is the new hotness. It's giving Shadowdark a run for its money. And again, I have nothing against the game. I have nothing against Darrington Press. I like Critical Role just fine. It's just that Daggerheart's not for me. And the combat, again, it's great for that feel-good kind of dramatic action. But in Dragonbane combat, your character can die. And Dragonbane rewards cautious planning and clever ideas and just generally being precise, concise, rigorous, and tactical. But I love how Dragonbane keeps the player sharp. It makes victories feel like they've been earned. That first score of your constitution is your hit points pretty much forever unless you take heroic abilities that allow you to add hit points. And yeah, there's that. And then we come to world building. Yeah, here on Jeff's Gamebox, we learn to build better worlds and have fun playing role-playing games. However, in Dragonbane, I'm a GM who likes to build my world, and then I invite the players into it, but I just kind of need that creative control. Whereas Daggerheart promotes collaborative world building, Which, I mean, that's great for some groups. Like, okay, I mean, if you guys want to sit down at your session 0 or session 1 or whatever you want to call it, and you want the players to all design their little chunk of the world, the village they came from, and everything about it, and let them describe everything, it's like, again, the GM just kind of takes a back seat and lets the players do basically everything. And to me, it's just not fun. Like, I would rather, here's my world, here's what elven culture is like, here's what dwarven culture is like, here's what my world is like. You can either come play in my world, or I can help you find a game that is more suited to your tastes. I mean, that's just how I've always done it, and I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like an old grognard for a second, but that's just how it's always going to be with me, because I prefer that creative control. And it's not about power, it's about story structure and the tone of my game, and I don't like giving up all of that and just let the players run the show just whole hog. It's not my thing. And again, it's no offense to anybody, it's just not how I do things. My final thoughts here. Daggerheart's good. Like, I'm not bashing it. It's a neat system. So far, it is pretty much a self-contained box set for about $60, and I think that's a great deal. Right now, we live in a tabletop role-playing game economy where even just enough core books to run a game is going to, go upwards of $240 or more. And that's, just for the core books you need to run the game. Looking at you, Pathfinder. D&D, $150. Tales of the Valiant, $180. I'm looking at all these numbers going by, and I'm just thinking, man, Dragonbane, $60 box set gets you adventures, rulebook, dice, full rulebook, by the way, dice, standees, map, battle map, you name it, even solo stuff. And Daggerheart does kind of the same thing. I don't think they give you the solo stuff as much. And like I said, you've got a lot of GM passiveness when it comes to world building and things like that I don't really much care for. And like I say, I've passed on Dungeons & Dragons 2024, Tales of the Valiant, Pathfinder Remastered, because Dragonbane gives me everything I want without a lot of bloated mechanics and a huge price. Daggerheart fans, I applaud you. Please enjoy your game. It's a great product with a lot of heart. But in terms of what I prefer, I'll be in the forest. I'll be parrying goblins, rolling under my skill score, and praying that I don't roll a demon in combat. Thank you for being here. Stay brave. Stay clever. Drink something nice and cool in this summer heat if you're in that part of the world. And enjoy your friends, your table, your dice, whatever game you're going to play. And I'll see you in the next video.